Hello, everyone. It's Chris with Trucking for My Future. Wow, it's been a crazy 10 days or so. I've been off the road. Um, Truck broke down and I've been stuck in a hotel ever since. Still going to be here for at least today and tomorrow. I got to wait for Freightliner to get a chance to look at it and try to figure out what's wrong with it. Of course, this is hurting my paycheck substantially, which is limiting my ability to transfer funds over to Webull to invest. And the stock market has been crazy down this week and last week. Today being the first week actually because the holiday weekend, it dropped some more. Um, I kind of didn't want to take the big hit on getting out of my QYLD and RYLD. However, I did some math and I did some thinking on it. Those two accounts, all of this is going to hurt me in two different ways in the short term. First off, both those accounts bring in a pretty good monthly dividend, about 80 between 85 and $90 a month. So by selling those off, I'm losing monthly income. I also sold them at a time when they're down pretty substantially, and I hate to say this, I racked up almost $1,600 worth of loss. Now, I already had 1,300, over 1,300. So I'm looking at about $2,900 in loss. So what that means basically is about 9% of my entire portfolio. Well, in the overall picture, that means my portfolio needs to come up 9.5% just to break even. That's actually not that scary because the whole market's down double that. It's down at least 18 to 20% from where it was a few months ago. So the turnaround really isn't that big of a deal. I mean, it's really not that difficult to see things turn around when you look at it long term. In the short term, right now, everybody's still acting crazy, talking about recession and how everything's down and inflation and employee shortage and this quiet quitting and all this other ridiculous stuff. In the short term, it probably looks like a really bad move on my part. But I can't focus on the short term. I have to focus on the long term. I have 7.5 years to get my portfolio in shape. So investing in good companies when they're down like this now will pay off when it comes time for me to retire because all of this will be done and gone and forgotten about. But in the short term, it kind of looks bad. Um, One of the things I want to mention about this quiet quitting, it's really kind of pissing me off a little bit the way the younger generations and the media is spinning what quiet quitting actually is. They're saying people are just showing up and doing their job, but they're not going above and beyond. And for the normal companies and everyday average companies and private companies, it's really not that big of a deal. It just hurts corporate companies because corporate companies almost like demand that you go above and beyond your job duties. And that's where it's really hurting them and blah, 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 blah. Class warfare. That's all it is. It's bullshit. Excuse the French, but that's what it is. They're just trying to say that people are hurting corporate companies, which is good because they want to demonize them because they're rich. First off, remember, without rich people, you don't have jobs. Okay? You don't have paychecks. Rich people, rich corporations create jobs, which in turn pay you a wage, which you use to live on. So without them, you're screwed. Stop trying to demonize business and rich people. It's bullshit. It's all political. Secondly, people are not showing up their jobs and doing their job. The actual truth of the quiet quitting is people are showing up on their job, punching in the clock, and then screwing off for their entire shift, playing on their phones, or not doing their job, doing is the bare minimum to not get fired. And a lot of times, if people could hire more people to replace them, they would be fired immediately because they're not doing their jobs. That's what the truth of the matter is. People are showing up and not doing jack squat. So the idea that, oh, they're just doing their job. No, they're not. They're doing very much less than what their job requires them to do. And they're spinning it. So the spin is basically you're just hurting corporate companies. No, they're hurting everybody. So there's my soapbox for the day. I got up today and I decided to go ahead and pull the trigger. I went ahead and sold off my RYLD and QYLD for a little over $11,000. I had also transferred in another $500 from my bank account. So I was roughly playing with about $12,000, just shy of $12,000. And I reinvested that into, a lot of it went straight into JP Morgan Chase, JPM. That dropped down to the 113s today and the 112s. So I picked up as much as I could, and I've gotten my price point down in the 114 range. And then I also put some into SCHD, the fund from Schwab. And I bought a good chunk more of Tesla. Now, my buy into Tesla does not help me at all on dividends. It's not a dividend stock. But the way I'm looking at it, I now have 75 shares of JP Morgan Chase. So if it goes up $25, which would just bring it back to normal price, that's over $1,800. So there's more than half of my loss recovered just for JP Morgan Chase to go back to normal. So that's where I'm counting on. I'm counting JP Morgan Chase to go back to normal, and I'm also counting on Tesla having a takeoff, because that's going to happen. All it's really going to take is for them to announce one big thing, and Tesla stock will take off again. So I'm counting on those two especially to make back the loss I've incurred total for my whole portfolio. Plus, I bumped up a few of my others to pick up a little more dividend payments. Nothing really significant, but I cut into that $80, $85 worth of loss a little bit by increasing some of my others. I also picked up two new stocks. I picked up Verizon. I got into a small position with Verizon, and also got into Realty Income. Now, Verizon stock ticker, by the way, is VZ, and I got into Realty Income, which stock ticker is O. Now, both of those are dividend payers. Verizon is quarterly, and Realty Income is monthly. Starting out with small positions, that's one thing I have learned. It's not the best idea to come in and buy big, to put thousands of dollars in one purchase for these stocks. it's better to buy little at a time, little at a time, because price points keep fluctuating, going up and down. You try to catch it when it's down and pick it up that way, and always lowering your average price that you paid. So it might be, let's go $15 today. Next week it might be 12. So if you bought all in today, you're down $3 a share. But if you only bought a few today and then it dropped to 12, oh well, now I can buy more. You're actually lowering your average. You might be sitting at, $13, $14. So when it drops to 12, you don't have as much down. And the more you can buy at 112, the average price drops. And when it goes back up to 115, oh well, now you're at 113. So now you're up $2 a share. So it just makes sense to try to buy in chunk at a time, little bit, instead of buying one large chunk. It pays off. That's called dollar cost averaging. And you can do like I'm talking about, which is a modified. Buy a little when it's high, buy a lot when it's low. And that's the best strategy, actually, um, based on what I've seen. Of course, I can't give financial advice. This is only my opinion. So anyway, I shifted around, like I said, about $12,000, which is about 30-something% of my entire portfolio. So over 30% of my entire portfolio, actually, with some of the moves I made. But I'm looking better. And when I got up today, I was almost at an 8% loss. When I shut it down, I was at under 4% loss. But I did take that hit. So I really need the market to turn around to bring everything back. So anyway, I will update you later. Probably keep going and doing more videos between now and the end of the month. But come the end of the month, I'm going to total up my dividends and tell you how much I made. I made $234 in dividends in August, and I made $244.43 in July. For my overall, because I just started in March, overall I've made over $721 in dividends, which is money that I've put back into the account. So I will get back with you guys again later and update you further and keep you advised of what's going on. I hope you guys are following along with me. Hit the like, share, subscribe. If you know anybody who's interested in this kind of content, share it with them, please. And we'll see you guys in the next video.